Hi there. On the 4th of March 2024, the African Union convened a meeting in Addis Ababa at its headquarters in Ethiopia to discuss supporting the deployment of the SADC mission in the DRC known as SAMIDRC. And the Rwandans who are backing the M23 rebels in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo were not invited, and that was a signal to the Rwandans that most African states consider that their involvement, their backing of the M23 is the problem rather than the solution to the ongoing conflict in the DRC. The Rwandan Foreign Minister Vincent Biruta wrote a letter to the African Union, and there it is on the screen. It's dated Kigali, the 3rd of March 2024, and it's addressed to Musa Faki Mahamat, the chairperson of the African Union. And it says that it essentially urges the African Union not to provide strategic support to the SADC deployment in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The countries consisting of the deployment in the DRC are South Africa, Tanzania, Malawi, and then Burundi. Of course, Burundi is not a member of the SADC grouping, but it's participating as a result of a bilateral arrangement between Burundi and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, let me see if I can get you more details on the contents of the letter from Vincent Biruta. It says the African Union is urged not to authorize or fund the SADC deployment in the eastern part of the DRC. It goes on to state that in 2013, SADC-led Force Intervention Brigade established to fight illegal armed groups in the DRC selectively decided to fight the M23 and refused to tackle the FDLR. The FDLR is a rebel group that which Rwanda claims as the backing of the DRC government, and they essentially claim that the FDLR its aim is to remove the Rwandan government from power. So now this is the crux of the problem. Rwanda, in 2013, the M23 was defeated, and then it lay dormant for close to 10 years, and that was because the South Africans had intervened and they had actually defeated the M23. Now Rwanda is diplomatically isolated, and it fears a repeat of the same thing because South Africa is the regional power. It has got the resources, the military means, and to fight the M23. And if Rwanda is involved, to actually take on the Rwandans. So the Rwandans now are insisting that the only solution to the conflict is a diplomatic one, and so it goes on to say that the Southern African force supports the government of the DRC's belligerent posture, focusing on a military solution against the spirit of all regional peace initiatives, including the ERC-led Nairobi process and the Angola-led Luanda process. So this is the stance now taken by the Rwandans. The Rwandans, they are now insisting that there is no military solution to this. They are insisting that the only way is to actually to negotiate. All along, for the past 25 years, the Rwandans have been waging war against the Congolese people in the eastern part of the DRC, and before 2003, it was the whole of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now the dynamics of the war have changed, and Rwanda cannot actually sustain this, because once it is cut off from the supplies of looted minerals from Eastern Congo, namely from Ruchuru, Masisi, and Rubaya, once those mines are taken over, Rwanda has no way to wage war, because most of its budget is coming from looted minerals, which is selling on the international market. And then the Rwandans, they consider Eastern Congo, namely the two Kivu provinces, South Kivu and North Kivu, and then the third province on the eastern part of Congo, Ituri. They consider this part of an older Rwandan kingdom, and in various media, they call it the Hima Tutsi Empire, that sort of thing. And this is what I'm talking about. This is Uganda here, right on the right, and then you go to Ituri. That's one of the eastern provinces in the DRC. Then you have got North Kivu. Then you have got South Kivu, and then you have got Burundi, and then in yellow there you have got Rwanda, and there is on social media, on various press media outlets, there is a talk of the Ugandans and the Rwandans wanting to create an empire and based on Tutsi hegemony, and the Tutsis in say in Rwanda, they only comprise something like 9% of the population, and then the rest is composed of like the Hutus and an ethnic group called the Twa, but they are the ruling elite. Then you got the same scenario in Uganda, and then this the scenario you have is that in all these red bits on the map, there are some Tutsi communities, but they are not the majority. But for Rwanda and then the Ugandans, that does not actually matter. What matters is that all they need is just a tiny minority of people they claim to be Tutsi, and then they'll just like go in and then cause all sorts of havoc. And let me see if I can get you an article from, I think it's from as far back as 25 years ago. This is an article from when the Zimbabweans and the Angolans, when they intervened in Namibia, and then it was they said that Kigali denies trying to recreate former empire. And then the article is actually from August 30, 1998, when the Zimbabweans, the Southern African coalition of SADC countries, namely Angola, Zimbabwe, and Namibia, intervened on the side of the Congolese government to stop the Rwandans and the Ugandans actually taking over the whole country. So now this is what it says. Rwanda has denied claims by a senior Zimbabwean official that Rwanda and Uganda are seeking to create an empire led by Hutu ethnic group, which would include Rwanda, Uganda, Burundi, and the eastern region of the Democratic Republic of Congo. This claim was made by Zimbabwe's then Foreign Minister Stan Mudenge when briefing foreign envoys in the Zimbabwean capital Harare on this country's decisions to send troops to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Of course, the Rwandans themselves and the Ugandans, they would actually dismiss this as ethnic hatred, trying to disseminate race-based theories. But this actually is, in most people who are familiar with the history of the Great Lakes, the problems there, they are familiar with all these issues. And now you have got the same scenario you had in 1998, where you have got countries from Southern Africa. They are actually intervening to stop the rebels backed by the Rwanda, and to some extent Uganda, taking over parts of the eastern part of the DRC. Now let me see. And the problem with that is the issues are to do with Western support for the Rwanda. And Rwanda is a tiny country, and it does not actually have the resources to wage war and to participate in all these adventures is taking abroad. For instance, if you consider that, like, Rwanda has deployed a significant number of troops in Mozambique. It's deployed in as far as Central African Republic, Burkina Faso. Yeah, does those sort of things. How does it project all that sort of military muscle? And it's weighed from the West. This article here is from the Guardian newspaper in the UK, and it says it's time to ask why the US and UK fund Rwanda while atrocities mount in the DRC. And then you have got the article goes on to say that the M23 movement, the rebels, they have taken over the strategic capital of the eastern DRC, that is Goma, and it goes on to say that last October, the UN's International Organization for Migration, let me see which the article is from, it's from 2024. It's a fairly recent article. So it says that the full scope of the West's complicity in human suffering in DRC has been partly obscured, but since the International Rescue Committee stopped updating its DRC mortality report in 2008, that year excess civilian deaths reached 5.4 million, making the situation in DRC the world's deadliest crisis since the Second World War. Last October, the UN's International Organization for Migration said 6.9 million Congolese people had been displaced by violence, up from 5.6 million in 2022. So this is the scale of the crisis in the eastern part of the DRC. And then the Rwandans, they get all sorts of goodies from the West, namely the UK and the United States. They get aid, and with that military aid, and then there is training of special forces by the Americans and all those sort of things. And Rwanda cannot actually afford to project that military force outside of its borders without actually external support. And this is the problem in the eastern part of the DRC. Thank you so much for taking time to follow this recording. If you are interested in material of this kind, please subscribe, and don't forget to give me some likes. Thank you. Bye.